Was there any ritual in your homes as your children left or graduated? Did you go through a process of mourning? Well, I watched and witnessed 3 rituals the days my brothers got married. Now, obviously, they all lived at home till the day they left to get married, which is an unusual thing today. But all 3 lived on the farm with us. And then the morning of the wedding, after we had our chores, everybody's cleaned up, ready to go to the church, and my mother would corner the groom, her son, and she'd go through this litany of things. I hope you're going to be happy. Good luck. Be nice to your wife. I hope that you appreciate everything we did for you. And then she cried and cried and cried. That never happened when I left. But I have that kind of experience when I leave a parish. Sometimes people don't appreciate and understand how close we priests can get to people. And obviously your relationships change. You're just not with the same people all the time. You know, that's the flavor. It's difficult. That's the flavor of the readings that we hear since Easter. Jesus was preparing his disciples to understand he's not going to be here forever. This isn't going to continue. And if you listen to those Gospels, he's constantly going over, I'm going to be leaving. The Spirit will come. And they ask these questions like, where are you going? Why you have to go? It's a way of preparing for his departure. He's assisting their spiritual growth. Their earthly relationships will not be forever, and they need to grow and develop in a new way. What was true for the disciples is also true for us. You know, I'm sure prayer and worship sometimes brings you great, deep peace. And then sometimes you just go through the motion and you're not getting anything. You know, you'll go on a Christian experience weekend or some kind of retreat and you come home and you're super high about Jesus and God and what God's calling you. And then there are times when you just mumble the words and it doesn't mean too much. Like the disciples, we are constantly being called to a new phase in our spirituality. And prayer can be effective without necessarily feeling it. Faith is not a feeling. Your marriage is just not feeling. I mean, sometimes you don't feel like it at all. But it's a commitment. It's a commitment to something that we really believe in. We need to realize that the motive for our religious involvement does not come primarily from the satisfaction we get from it. We get involved because Jesus asks us to. We get involved because Jesus taught us to. We get involved because Jesus himself did. A collector of moths was walking in a park, and he saw a cocoon of a rare moth hanging in the tree. He clipped the twig, took the cocoon home with him. A few days later, he saw movement, but the moth did not come out. The next day, there was more movement, and the moth didn't come out. And on the 3rd day, after the same kind of movement, he took a knife and slit it open, and the moth crawled out, but it was not fully developed, and it died. A biologist friend explained to him that nature has arranged it in such a way that moths must struggle to escape its cocoon. It's that struggle that causes it to develop and make it strong enough to survive. When the collector tried to make it easy for the moth, he destroyed its chance to grow. It could never become what it was created to be. It's like us. The struggles in our lives are ways for us to grow spiritually. Because we're having the struggles, we're going to have them if you like it or not. For every pain we must bear, For every burden and every care, there's a reason. For every tear that is shed, there's a reason. For every grief that bows our head, there's a reason. For every hurt and for every plight, for every lonely, pain-racked night, there is a reason. But if we trust God as we should, it will turn out for our good. Because God knows the reason. God knows the reason. Amen.